Hi, my name is Mashanta and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is my May monthly reset. I am coming here after a break of 2 months. So if you're new to my channel or new to this format of a video, what I'd like to do is at the beginning of every month, sort of look back on how the previous month went, review myself in terms of certain goals I'd set up for myself that I wanted to achieve in that specific month. And these are across different dimensions. I have done this for Jan and Feb. Unfortunately, I had to miss this for March and April because I felt really sick and I basically lost my voice. 2025 has been such a strange month for me because this is actually the third month in running that I've been falling sick. Even now, my voice is a little constrained, but both in Feb and March, I was out. Like, I was out for a good 2.5 weeks. My voice was just lost for a longer time beyond that, which is why you don't have these reset videos for March and April, but I'm back strong in May. In today's video, what I will be doing is go through the goals that I set up for myself in April and give you a general sense of how I have been feeling, how the months have been going, and obviously talk about the goals I'm setting for myself up in May. So those are the two halves to this video, and I hope you'll find this useful. After 4 weeks in April, 1 week I was traveling, 2 weeks I was sick, so there was only really so much I could do. But let me just talk about some of the highlights, some of the lowlights. I managed to do around 10 to 12 workouts, which is very, very poor compared to some of my better months in 2024. Given the reasons I already outlined, April was just like a tough month. However, on the steps count, this has been my best month in terms of steps. I landed at nearly 5,000 steps. So I think just around 5,000 steps, around 4,980 steps. And let me quickly tell you how I did in the months prior, just so you get a sense of why this is a bit of a big deal for me. So starting from Jan I did 2,500 steps on average. In Feb, I did 2,000 steps. Like, I'm rounding up and down. The actual details will be here. March, I did 3,600 steps, which is better than Jan and Feb, but far lesser than what I need to be doing. April, I did 4,988 steps, which is just under 5,000, and hopefully tomorrow, I'll sort of make it 5,000. I think my goal was, however, to do 8,000 steps a day, but I only landed at 5,000 steps, but it is what it is. There are some other additional challenges. So I basically have a ligament strain. It's not a tear, thank God, but one of my knees on the left side of the knee, I think it is called meniscus. It's a bit of a complicated name. I don't remember it very well, so I'll just kind of mention it here. And that has been severely strained. It happened middle of March. I observed it for a month. It didn't get better, and it wasn't so bad. It's just that there are certain movements like crossing your legs 90 degrees. You try to put your socks when you try to, there's a bit of an angle at which you put your legs and your shin, and that really hurts. So I waited for a bit. When it didn't get better after 5 6 weeks, I went to the doctor. We got an x-ray done. Fortunately, there's no issues with my bones, thank God. I was so scared. There is no swelling either, so I have been prescribed physio. I've gotten, I think, 1.5 sessions of physio done. I have 4 more sessions to go, and I have certain exercises that I need to do and certain exercises that I can't do as part of my regular workout protocol. And this really just goes to show that sometimes you take so many things for granted, like especially the knee joint, right? It is so critical for so many of the movements that you do, and it is only when you can't do some of those movements, be it because of psoriasis or because of this ligament tear, you realize that, oh my God, you are so lucky to be able to do these movements, and there's so many things that you just take for granted. This has been a bit of a scare. I think it's also been quite eye opening for me about how we just tend to take our body for granted. So, even during my workouts, when I feel a little stressed, when I feel a little worried or anxious, if I'm not able to keep up, I try to kind of intentionally be grateful to my body for moving the way it does. Last week of April, I don't know why, but I've had a really bad psoriasis flare up. There's been a lot of itching, especially the past 3 nights. And it's a little strange because I am having my homeopathy tablets. Yeah, I am. I think I've been off gluten at least half of April, but I think I just need to be a bit more careful on the food and the dietary intake. But that's something that's been bothering me as well. I've had to miss workouts yesterday and today because of my flare up or the ligament injury. I would say the home is quite an unorganized mess. I have traveled quite a bit in Feb, March, and April. There was a bit of shopping that I had done in each of my travels. So suddenly there's been a lot of different things that have entered the house, but everything is not in the right place, or I haven't found a designated place for it, which is quite annoying. That is something I want to fix in May, and you will see that reflected in my May goals. One sort of highlight for me is I was just a lot more social than possibly the most social I have ever been in this country in the past 2 years now. So, a couple of different opportunities to kind of be social. One of my previous companies had an alumni reunion. I did attend it, and it was quite nerve wracking for me because I was part of this company in a different country. I effectively went to this reunion expecting to meet only one or two people I know, and I did that. I also made new acquaintances, made new connections, spoke to strangers, which is really quite out of my comfort zone now. And there's also a large gathering. There were easily at least 300, 350 people. The fact that I put myself in that situation, I was very proud of myself for that. I had a friend stay over. He's technically my husband's best friend, but my husband wasn't in town, so it was pretty much me hosting him. Like, because my husband wasn't there, I did want to make sure that he felt welcomed, and I sort of organized my schedule around his availabilities. I felt good that I was available the whole time he was there. I reached out to people across different avenues: Instagram, WhatsApp, maybe sometimes even LinkedIn. The intent was just to stay connected, just to keep that connection alive. And I usually don't do that. I'm very bad at staying in touch with people, make plans to meet people in person. It felt very odd for me to do, but I'm glad I did it. I'm going to continue to keep doing it, continue to try to make friends as an adult. So let's see. It's always nice to meet new people, especially in a place like Dubai where people from different countries are here. So it's always nice to kind of get to know people from other countries, share a bit of your culture, get to know a bit of theirs, and so on. Now, in terms of all the entertainment slash reading slash knowledge corner, right? So let's tackle reading. I was abysmal. Like, this year has been abysmal for me in reading. I have probably read only two books this year, and this is like the slowest I've ever been. Somehow, I just have not had the inclination to read this year, which is very, very strange because I still love browsing books. I keep adding books to my TBR. I keep buying new books, but I just am not able to read for whatever reason. This month, I finished one book called The Detective Book Club. The title is a long one, so it escapes me. But this is a book that I discovered in New Zealand. It is such a cozy book. It's a lovely book. Highly recommend if you can get your hands on it. It's basically about ex-coppers who set up this bookshop in New Zealand. There are a host of crazy characters that come around, and there are a lot of mysterious things happening. It's delightfully written. I wouldn't say it's a whodunit, but there is quite an air of mystery. A lot of different characters are introduced. All of them have different backstories. All of them seem to have their own agenda. So you're always wondering if everything is as straight as it seems. The most entertaining part of all of this is it's written in a very light, frothy, comedic way. So think of Wodehouse plus a whodunit. So it's got those sort of vibes. So it's a very enjoyable read, and especially the setting is a bookshop. So you kind of see the behind the scenes of organizing a bookshop, administering a bookshop. So very, very enjoyable that way. So I highly recommend it. I also bought they've written a second book as part of this entire world. I have that here somewhere, and I have to read it, but it's really, really good. The second book that I'm reading is The Stationery Shop by Kenji Ueda. I'm halfway through. I don't know if I'll finish it in time, but I would have finished like 80-85% of the book in April, so I'm going to count it for April. And this is actually quite a delightful book as well. Like the name suggests, it's about multiple characters who visit the stationery shop for certain requirements. It's either gifting or something that they need. As you're introduced to these characters, you're introduced to different backstories. So if you like stationery, if you like Japanese stories, these are all very simple stories about friendship, about first love, about families, about mentorship. So all enjoyable stories. and written in this very quaint Japanese way. Of course, I am reading a translated work, and this is such a nice, sweet Japanese book. I think that's the word I would use. I wouldn't say it is as poignant or deep as the Sweet Bean Paste, but it kind of reminds me of Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I like it a lot because I love stationery, so I love descriptions of stationery. I think it's translated well because it translates the nuances of the Japanese culture well as well. Sometimes a lot of that can get lost in translation. If you like any Japanese translated work, or if you want to get introduced to it, or if you like stationery, I think this is a good recommendation. In terms of dramas, a couple of dramas that I have watched. One is The Art of Negotiation. This is a very non K drama kind of drama for me. Mystery slash thriller, but in a corporate setting. No murder as such, but it deals with M&A, so there's a lot of corporate politics, a lot of backbiting. I think it's very well done. It does tend to drag on a couple of times. It does tend to meander into unnecessary storylines, in my opinion. It kind of falls into the trap of trying to make the hero look like he is ruthless but still a do-gooder. To succeed in that sort of a world, you can't be completely good all the time, but somehow it felt like the storyline tries to show him like this misunderstood character whose heart is in the good right place, but everybody just thinks of him differently. So I felt like they tried too hard to paint the hero like a good guy, but the hero himself, I think, acted really well. The cast was very good, acting was really good, but it was engaging enough. I wasn't waiting for every episode each weekend, but when it came, when I watched it, I did enjoy it. I saw this typical extra cute, almost saccharine sweet K drama called My Dearest Nemesis. It was very cute, but again, fell into a lot of K drama tropes that I kind of abandoned it in the last episode. By the last episode, I didn't really care what happened because you knew it's going to be a happy ending anyway. But it was cute. It was a good, I would say, almost like a palate cleanser when you're waiting for a good K drama or a good drama to watch. It's okay, but I definitely wouldn't say it's a must see. I would like rate it a 6 on 10. Then there is this Chinese show called Love Me, Love My Voice, which is very cute, but oh god, it is so overly long. I don't know, I felt like after a point the leads kind of lacked a lot of personality. It deals with voice acting, so the world of voice acting was very interesting for me. But after a point, like the love story wasn't really convincing of the main leads. But I really liked the story, like the setting, the story. There were a lot of characters. A lot of characters had their backstories pretty developed, so they weren't like just filling the time. Like some of the characters I felt like really invested in, and almost more than the main characters themselves. So most of this drama I was just like forwarding it, and after a point I just got bored, so I just abandoned the last 5 episodes. But it's a cute drama. Like if you're not very used to Chinese dramas, then you can enjoy it. I just feel like a lot of the Chinese dramas fall into very similar traps. So after a point, it becomes more of the same. So you get like bored and you're just like trying to get it over with. Saving the best for the last in terms of watching, and I'm still watching this. This is When Life Gives You Tangerines. I kid you not. So it's about 3 generations of a family in Korea with like a couple at the center. It kind of follows their life from childhood to till the time they become grandparents, etc. Oh, it's like a wonderful story if you want to understand how Korea has really transformed from, I would say, the 50s to the 2000s. Very gut wrenching, heart rending stories, incredible acting. Every episode, I've been crying like a maniac. And it's a show that I watch with my husband, which is why I've been very slow. I think I started the show in March, but we're still watching it. Like, I'm still at, I think, not even 10 episodes in, because I'm always waiting for when he's available for us to watch together. Like, he should be available, he should be in the mood for us to watch together. But it is easily one of the best Korean shows I've seen. It's very deep, it's very intense. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for when you need something chill, but it's very well made. Some really stellar, impeccable acting. IU is so good. Park Bogum is so good. The adult versions are so good. It is like such a good show. It's easily going to sweep all the awards this year. Finally, April has also been marked with a lot of developments in the international space. What I mean by that is Trump announced his tariff, which has had major repercussions on international trade, geopolitics. Like the world is in quite a wait and watch mode. There are elections happening in different countries. India's gone through its own really, really unfortunate terrorist attack at Pahalgam, right? Heavy number of days on the international scene and a lot of things that you kind of need to get educated on. Especially, I would say the last 1 week, 10 days in April, I have been consuming podcasts left, right, and center. So, a couple of podcasts that I've just been enjoying watching. Basically, because of this entire situation, I've had a renewed interest in economics, in logistics, in geopolitics, in the history and context of nation forming, nation building, etc. So, a couple of things that I've been loving. One is the Scott Galloway show. He has multiple podcasts. I link the one that I've been really enjoying to kind of keep abreast with the latest. Diary of a CEO, he does have some really good guests whom he specifically asks questions around the economy and the world order. The most notable podcast interview episode, which I really enjoyed, was the one with Morgan Housel. I'll include the links to that below. Then Gary's Economics. So he's like a banker slash trader turned economist commentator based out of the UK. He is very, very anti capitalism now because he knows like it's going to end in like terrible inequality. He has some very forceful views, delivers them in a very no nonsense, tough manner. I think it's really important to get his perspective, especially when you end up being in your own bubble. I discovered the Ezra Klein show, and I think that's brilliant. Interview with Thomas Friedman, who I believe is an editor in The Economist or a contributor for The Economist, was brilliant. I'm going to include that below. Faye D'Souza, of course, especially when it comes to objective commentary on Indian topics. Really, really, I find that useful. And on Indian businesses, I've been really enjoying the Nikhil Kamath podcast. A lot of these podcasts are very long, so I tend to watch them at 1.25 or 1.5x. I think the past 1 week, 10 days, I have really been binging on so many podcasts, and I just feel so much more aware. I understand the context to a lot of different things happening. For me, the real interesting thing to see is the whole consequences of Trump tariffs because it is going to be so far reaching and it's not going to just affect the US, it's going to affect the entire world because any disruption to the supply chain affects supply all over. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how things pan out. Anyway, that was April. Now it's time to go through the goals that I have set up for me. I'd like to structure these goals across different dimensions. Typically, there are 5 dimensions: health, professional, personal, home or admin, financials. So, very quickly on the health, I want to do 21 days of exercise or 40 workout sessions. So I want to average 10k steps. I know this is a stretch, especially because I'm just doing 5k steps right now. But I've heard so much, read so much that if I really want to do fat loss and sustained weight loss, then I need to do this. I need to get better at my skincare routines and my hair care routines. I've been so lazy and so low maintenance with my skincare and hair care. It's not even funny. So need to really pick the pace up on both skin and hair, especially because I have so many lovely products that bought and I want to use them up. The only challenge is I also am blessed with a kind of skin where if I do too much, it really affects my skin. So for me, less is really equal to more. So I have to kind of balance the two. I need to get better at planning and journaling. I mean what's done is done, but I need to plan. I have so many beautiful planners and journals. And journaling personally has really helped me kind of step back, take stock of where I am, what I really want to do, what my values are. Especially I have been feeling quite lost in life. I wouldn't say lost is the right word, but I've been questioning a lot of things in terms of whether I am on the right direction, whether this is the path I need to continue on a lot of different aspects in my life. And I just find that journaling gives me a lot of clarity and conviction. And especially now that I have the luxury of time, I want to make sure I have time to step back and journal. I've noticed a very clear correlation that when I don't work out, I don't sleep well. So I just want to make sure I sleep at least 8 hours, if not more. I have a bunch of supplements that I'm supposed to have, which I've been pretty irregular about, but now I have a system around it. I have these like really cute capsules, day-wise capsules that I have from Amazon. So I just have to organize it once and then it's done. I think it's slowly getting to be a habit of mine for me. I just want to double down on that in this month. I need to have protein, a lot more protein, like in protein juices or smoothies. That's something I really miss out on, especially being a vegetarian. I'm pretty sure my protein intake is not enough, and probably that shows in terms of my weight and results. Of course, in terms of diet, I need to be gluten free and dairy free. Dairy free, not so much. So I would say gluten free around 90-95% of the time. Dairy free, I would say 70-75% of the time. I see direct impact of this diet on my psoriasis. So I really, really want to kind of get back on track. On weight loss, I measured myself last week and I'm so ashamed. I'm not going to tell my weight. I usually don't shy from sharing my weight, but this is easily the heaviest I've ever been. So I'm almost in denial about the weight number. So I'm not going to share my weight, but my fat composition is 50%. 50% of my body is fat, and that is just insane to me. So I want to kind of get to like a 47% fat share. I don't know if that's realistic in a single month, but we're going to try. We have to start somewhere. The others are kind of going to be a derivative of everything else. So I mentioned homeo supplements already. I would say that's pretty much become a habit of mine now, but I still talk about being very consistent with my homeo supplements and therefore managing my psoriasis. So these were all my health goals. So now very quickly on professional. When I say professional, I basically mean my social media aspects. Just to clarify, it is still not a profession for me. I still like doing it. I'm still in the process of learning and building, and I don't make any income from my social media. Typically on this, I like to split it into output and input metrics. In terms of output metrics, YouTube is my primary platform, by the way. And I would like to hit, and I know this can sound like a bit of an overreach, I would like to hit 7,500 subs in May, which I think would be very, very exciting. Past 2 months have been pretty exciting for me on YouTube. Right now, I am at 5,947 subscribers on YouTube, which is crazy to me, and it's so, so exciting. So, thank you so much for being part of this community and following along. So, I would love to hit 7,500 in May. I know it's a stretch, but a girl can dream. On the input side, this would have to be achieved on the basis of everyday shots, which I would say I'm mostly putting up everyday shots. I probably would have missed maybe 3-4 days in April max. I need to get better at full length videos. I don't want to give excuses, but my loss of voice was a big part in terms of why I wasn't consistent before. Like I said, you tend to take so many things for granted. So now it's just like whenever I'm healthy, I'm just going to film whenever I can and just have a video bank ready so that if I I've become unwell, I at least have a video bank I can rely on. Some of the other input metrics is LinkedIn. I don't want to put 1 or 2 posts. I would say past 1 week, I've sort of rediscovered LinkedIn. I'm just, especially with the Trump tariff situation, I kind of wanted to go on LinkedIn and see perspectives on, especially the supply chain impact. It's been fun going back on LinkedIn. It also adds to a bit of anxiety, and maybe I'll talk about it in a different video. But I typically try to avoid LinkedIn, but I think it would be fun to kind of go back to kind of creating content on LinkedIn. I used to create a lot of content. I used to write a lot about the beauty space and sometimes the loyalty space, maybe last year. And so, if you're interested in stuff like that, you can follow me on LinkedIn. TikTok and Instagram is gonna be like a byproduct of YouTube. So, whatever I put on YouTube Shorts, I'll be putting up on these platforms as well. Now, in terms of personal, I want to read 6 books. I know this is an overreach, especially given my abysmal track record, but I think I want to do 6 books. I also want to have a very nice organized night routine. Especially the past week, I feel like I've just been frittering away time in the night and like just not getting things done, and which delays my nighttime. And sleep is such an integral part to overall health, so I want to fix that. I think I need to have some sort of goal around podcasts as well, right? Like to 10 podcast episodes, summarize, oh, summarize them all. Another thing which I've been very getting quite excited by is I've been exploring all of the AI offerings in the market. Not all, just some. So I've been exploring ChatGPT, Claude AI, Perplexity, and I think each of them has different strengths. But I want to start integrating these AI applications in my personal and professional life and sort of unlock. I think AI can be very, very powerful in terms of unlocking the next level of productivity. For example, even using AI to plan my social media content or strategy. Seriously, the past, I would say 3, 4 days, I've been experimenting a lot with different prompts, figuring out how I can give the right prompt and just figuring out the strengths of each of these AI applications, AI offerings in the market, and it's very, very cool. And in a way, I'm really glad that I have the time to kind of experiment with some of this because all of this has been happening for a while, right? But when I was working, I just never had the patience to kind of figure this out. But now that I do have time, I want to kind of figure this out and get used to that new normal, which is kind of having AI in every layer of our lives just to make it better and equip myself to use all of these opportunities that we have. It's very cool. Honestly, I think the kind of unlock it would have given us in my consulting days, it's just amazing to watch. Okay, very quickly, almost done. So on the home admin stuff, like I said, my home is an unorganized mess. So I'd want to get to organizing certain sections of my home. I think some of that will be too personal, so I don't think I'll be vlogging it per se, but it is something, at least my wardrobes and my skincare collection and my books. So three things. Skincare, sorry, includes everything: hair, body, makeup, everything. And books. Like my bookshelf is overflowing. The books are like creaking under the weight of one on top of the other. So I need to fix that. Might have to do pest control because I have no idea from where the flies come, but they come and I think they're increasing with the summer here. So I might have to like take one day out to get pest control done. And financial, I kind of need to review how the year has gone in terms of our spending, figure out some trends around that. I feel almost shameless putting this as a goal because this is literally, I've been putting this as a goal for each month for at least like 7, 8 months now, and I've just never done it. Maybe because I'm guilty that I don't make any money, so I feel guilty about looking at, I don't know. No point psychoanalyzing it, and that requires a journaling session to get to the bottom of. But that is for me to solve for, and I don't think you need to know that. Anyway, so here we are. Those are my May 2025 goals, and that's how I'm feeling in general. I cannot believe that 4 months in 2025 are already done. So it's like 1/3 of the year is done, but it's okay. That means I still have 2/3 of the year to go. I'm gonna kind of lock in and try to plan such that I can really be intentional about how I'm spending my time and how I achieve my goals. I hope you found this video useful. If you have goals for yourself for the rest of the year or for me, and if you're comfortable, please, I would love to hear from you, love to understand what we're all working on. Let's cheer each other on. So do let me know in the comments below what your plans are. It can just be like 1 or 2 goals. It doesn't have to be elaborate like mine are. If you could also give me feedback on these kind of videos, that'll be really helpful. They do take quite a bit of time for me to edit, especially. These videos typically do the worst on my channel, so I'm always confused about whether I should do this. Personally, I love having this kind of content on my channel, even though I haven't been very regular. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If you've stuck here till the very end, I hope you found this useful. I'll see you around. Bye bye. 너랑 나는 운명 너를 보고 싶어 꿈에 다시